Can you start and scale a successful business with just a single 3D printer? Let's look at some of the numbers and figure it out. So exactly what would this business look like? At the core, I'm assuming we're using our own website and not a third-party selling platform. Therefore, we'll need to drive traffic to this website through paid ads or organic content. Users will then get to the website, hopefully place an order, and then we will print and ship that order for them. The main costs that we'll need to consider will be the cost of the printer, the cost of the material, electricity, which I know will be a hot topic for a lot of people, the cost of packaging, shipping, and finally the cost of marketing. We'll then need to dig into our expected sales, the price that we're planning to sell this product at, and we should probably look at what the maximum production amount is and how we would scale this business if we wanted to. Some other issues to bear in mind that we won't get into too much today is the maintenance of the printers, the cost of your time invested into this business, and setting up and paying for a website and a payment gateway which will allow users to order our product. So let's make this example a little bit more real by starting with a potential product that we could sell. Over the past couple of days, I've been playing around with printing scale models of Table Mountain here in Cape Town. This was actually really just a fun project to do, and I don't intend on selling these, but it could just give us something concrete to look at and base our numbers off of. This 10 centimeter model takes about 3 hours to print and uses about 25 grams of filament. And this model takes about 18 hours to print and uses 101 grams of filament. Those numbers are important because it will allow us to calculate our material cost and the cost of any electricity consumption during the printing process. And it can also help us determine the maximum number of products that we could make to sell should our sales end up blowing up. For the rest of the video, I'm going to be focusing on the big 20 centimeter print, purely because I think an 18-hour print makes a little bit of the math easier, and a print of this size falls in a bit of a sweet spot with regards to packaging, shipping, and marketing. Those three elements don't really scale well with a smaller product like this, just based on the numbers that I've looked at. So for now, we'll be sticking to this one. Now it's time to look at the actual numbers and see what this business is going to cost us. First up is the cost of the printer. I bought my Creality Ender 3 Neo from Takealot, and I paid 4,999 Rand for it. That cost will vary drastically from printer to printer, but at the time I was buying, the Ender 3 Neo was a budget-friendly option that gave me all the features I needed, and I assume everyone that's just starting out is going to be in a similar ballpark. Next up, we'll have the filament cost. And this is probably your only real material cost in this process, unless you're doing complex designs with circuitry, hardware, lighting, etc. For now, let's assume that we are just printing a product and selling it as is. As I mentioned earlier, this Table Mountain print took a total of 101 grams of filament. This was the estimate that came out of my slicer, but I did weigh the print afterwards just to check the final weight of the product. The filament that I'm using is Creality's Ender Series PLA. I paid 319 Rand on Takealot for this for a 1 kilogram spool. So with a little bit of math, we can figure out that 101 gram print works out to 32 Rand and 22 cents. Electricity is one factor that actually surprised me. I hooked my printer up to a power meter and saw that it was drawing anywhere between 115 and 130 watts while it was printing. And generally it was spending most of its time towards the lower end of that range. With a little bit of math, I calculated that an 18-hour print only cost me about 7 Rand in electricity, which isn't much, but we'll add it into our cost calculation just for the sake of completeness. Now that our print is done and we've accounted for all the manufacturing costs, we need to consider the cost of packaging and shipping. The service that I'm using in this example is Pudo, which essentially allows you to place your product in a locker and they will then collect it from that locker and deliver it to the customer's doorstep. Pudo also offers packaging for your shipment, so we can get our shipping and packaging costs directly from their website. Now the numbers vary slightly depending on the size and weight of the package that you're shipping. This print came out to a shipping cost of 70 Rand per order and a packaging cost of 15 Rand per order. Our final cost element is our marketing cost. Now I have some experience in digital marketing, but not really for this type of business or this price point. And I'm also going to assume that we're not just using paid advertising to drive customers to our website. We could be using organic channels and creating content on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook to drive users to our site and ultimately buy our product. For this example, I'm going to use an estimated marketing cost of 20 Rand per order. This number might be completely out of whack, and if anyone has any experience in this, please do let me know in the comments. So with all of that in mind, we've spent 4,999 Rand on a 3D printer, and it costs us 144 Rand and 22 cents to manufacture, ship, and market our product. So knowing that variable cost is great. It allows us to set a minimum price that we would need to sell our product at if we're even thinking about making any profit. And that naturally leads us onto our next discussion point. How much are we going to be selling this product for? And this is also going to be highly dependent on the type of product you're selling, what type of need you're fulfilling, and if there's any competition in the market already. I don't necessarily think that this table mounted print is something that will carry a high demand, but running a printer for 18 hours and putting a bit of thought into the design of your product should leave you with something that can really add value to the life of the customer. Another factor that goes hand in hand with the selling price and the demand for your product is the expected number of sales that you'll be making in a month. Traditional economics will tell us that as we increase the price of our product, we'll decrease the quantity demanded. And therefore these factors really go hand in hand, and you can't consider the one without the other. At the moment, we're just using an arbitrary example, so these numbers are going to be a little bit thumbsuck. As I mentioned earlier, this print took me a full 18 hours. I'll consider that a full day of printing, which means if we have our printer running all day, every day, we should be able to pump out about 30 of these every single month. So what we know now is our maximum production in a single month is 30 units. And I'm actually going to use that number for our expected sales in a month. Reason being, if the business doesn't make sense selling every single product it could make in a single month, then it's not going to make sense any other way. With that in mind, I'm going to pluck a seemingly random number out of thin air for our selling price. And that number is 315 Rand per unit. While that number might seem unrealistic for this simple table mountain print, that won't be the case for every product. And that's really going to be the challenge of the business, coming up with products that people will pay for and that there isn't a lot of competition for. But 315 Rand per product at 30 sales a month allows us to do something pretty spectacular. At a selling price of 315 Rand per product and a cost price of 144 Rand and 22 cents, we'll be left with a profit per sale of 170 Rand and 78 cents if we ignore the cost of the printer. At a total of 30 sales, that leaves us with just over 5,000 Rand in profit for the month, which pays off our printer and gives us the cash flow to buy a second printer. So we'll be starting month 2 with double the manufacturing capacity. Assuming that we have the right products to take advantage of our full manufacturing capacity in month 2, in month 3, we'll have the cash flow to double once again. And we can continue that in month 4 and month 5. Now, while this is an extreme and probably unrealistic situation, it means that by month 6, we'll have 32 printers and we'll be making over 160,000 Rand in profit for the month. And really, the only crazy thing that we've put on this is our profit margin and our expected sales. Those numbers could be tweaked slightly and the results would still be pretty impressive. These numbers are made up, yes, but the mechanics are there. The main challenge is coming up with a product that enough people will pay enough money for so that you can clear your 144 Rand and 22 cents by a decent margin. If you meet those criteria, the business will be growing. It might not be overnight success, and you probably won't be quitting your full-time job anytime soon. But it's definitely something you could start on the side and could provide a healthy income in a couple months' time. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments, Is this something you would consider doing? Is it something you've done before and either succeeded or maybe not done as well as you'd expected? I know I'm personally going to be doing a lot more research into this and seeing if I could actually start a real business from it.